Hello, my name is Professor Rory Collins and I'm the Principal Investigator of UK Biobank. By recruiting some 500,000 people aged 40 to 69 from all around the UK, from all walks of life, obtaining information from questionnaires, physical measurements and storing blood and urine samples, the UK Biobank resource will allow scientists in many years to come to investigate the causes of a huge range of different diseases and thereby find better ways to treat and prevent these conditions. UK Biobank is unique within the world. It's the most detailed studies of its kind in terms of the richness of data collected and therefore the amount of valuable information it will provide scientists about the causes of disease and how to treat and prevent them in many years to come.
The scale and ambition of UK Biobank led its funders, Wellcome Trust and Medical Research Council, to establish the Ethics and Governance Council. This is an independent body charged with the responsibility of advising and monitoring UK Biobank in all respects of the project. Overarching, the most important objective is to ensure that participants' interests are protected. Key to the success of UK Biobank is the maintenance of public and participant trust. The role of the Ethics and Governance Council is to communicate regularly with UK Biobank to ensure that all aspects that affect participants, such as consent and confidentiality, are maintained to the highest levels possible. It is the role of the Ethics and Governance Council to speak about UK Biobank, not for UK Biobank, and it does so through publication of its work and opinions. And in any circumstance where the Ethics and Governance Council was unhappy with the work of Biobank, it would make sure that that was reported publicly.
Over the past 4 to 5 years, there's been an enormous amount of discussion, planning and piloting to work out exactly how to do UK Biobank. Researchers have considered every aspect of the study, from what questions to ask, what physical measurements to make and what samples to collect, as well as how to store safely and securely the mountain of health information that we will gather. Nothing on this scale has ever been attempted in this level of detail before. Over the next 10, 20, 30 years, as the UK Biobank resource becomes more and more informative about disease, many thousands of scientists from around the world will work with the resource to discover why it is particular individuals get particular diseases, helping to find ways to treat and prevent these diseases.
The MRC is actively involved in supporting UK Biobank. The reason for this is that this is a unique opportunity that has come about through a whole lot of research to enable us now to be able to look at the causes of common diseases. All the scientists working on Biobank are very excited, but it's not just those who are directly involved with the Biobank project that are excited, but others as well, because the information that we will garner will enable so many others in their own specific fields to really begin to look at new ways of tackling and preventing some of the worst conditions that we actually experience as a population.
UK Biobank will be a fantastic resource for scientists in the future working to uncover new causes for disease, which will lead to new ways to treat and prevent them. Your help today will allow them to discover why one person develops a particular disease and another does not, be it heart disease, different types of cancer, joint disease, dementia, mental illness, and a range of other conditions. All these diseases can be studied using the UK Biobank resource by scientists from around the world. The strength of the resource is its size. 500,000 participants provides an enormous store of valuable disease-related information.
I'm Dr. Ian Frame. I'm the Director of Research at Diabetes UK. UK Biobank will be enormously helpful to diabetes research. Diabetes is caused by a combination of environmental, lifestyle and genetic factors, and UK Biobank lends itself to helping that sort of research very well, because that's exactly the sort of information it's collecting from people who take part.
In building a resource that would be useful to scientists of the future, we've sought to capture as much information as we can about participants at the baseline assessment visit, while keeping the process down to about 90 minutes. There is, of course, much more information that we could collect, and in the future we may come back to participants to ask if they would mind helping us further. The whole assessment process is computerised, which means that in just a few minutes after you leave the assessment centre, the information we've gathered about you will be stored safely and securely. Much time and effort has gone into simplifying the questionnaire process. The touchscreen computer is easy to use and adds another layer of privacy and confidentiality to the answers that you give us. The specially designed technology is just one of the ways that the UK Biobank resource is leading the way in this sort of medical research. The information that identifies you as an individual is almost immediately stripped from the answers that you have provided and the measurements we have taken, which means that no one will ever know anything about your private details taken here today. Many of UK Biobank's techniques and practices will be copied by other such projects now emerging around the world. Blood pressure is an important indicator of current health, and its measurement will be vital to scientists investigating a host of common complaints, including in particular heart disease and stroke. The UK Biobank nurses are particularly interested also in following up on questions about your health, such as the number of operations you may have had or the medications that you take, which are harder to collect from the touchscreen questionnaire. The physical measurements that we make are of considerable interest to most participants and are familiar to anyone who has ever had a medical checkup. We measure body size, lung function, bone density, and hand grip strength. A donation of blood is crucial to UK Biobank, but don't worry, it looks like we take more than we do. It's actually only about 3 tablespoons. The blood is stored in barcoded tubes and begins its processing almost immediately after it's collected. The samples are taken to a special area within the assessment centre where they're either spun or left to settle and then stored in refrigerators before being transferred to the central laboratory. At the end of each day, the blood and urine samples are sent by courier to our main processing and storage facility near Manchester. Because each blood donation may be used by hundreds of researchers in the future, we further subdivide each sample into smaller tubes called aliquots. In total, when the project has finished recruitment, we will store about 15 million aliquots of blood and urine at temperatures down to about -200 degrees centigrade. The sheer size and nature of the project means that almost all of the processing and storage has been mechanised and computerised. State-of-the-art robotics allow for precision measuring and monitoring and ensure that we'll be able to find each individual sample quickly in years to come and to match them anonymously with the health information that you've so kindly allowed us to collect.
One of the reasons we know so much about heart disease today is because of a study that was started some 40 years ago in North America. That's why we now understand the importance of high cholesterol and high blood pressure and smoking on heart disease, and why we have such effective treatments for heart disease now. What Biobank will do is to provide even better information for future generations, because heart disease is still rising in the population, both in the elderly and, more worryingly, we worry our children who are obese are going to get heart disease in the future.
All of the follow-up of participants' health will be through electronic health record systems with the participants' explicit consent. We will also be looking at ways in which we might be able to simply ask a few additional questions following the assessment centre, and are currently piloting asking some questions through web-based approaches. In addition, some participants will be asked if they're willing, quite voluntarily, to repeat their baseline assessment visit in order that we can look at changes over time.
Participants in the UK Biobank will really be viewed in a quite extraordinary light in future. They'll have done something that has contributed potentially towards groundbreaking new research that will enable new medicines of the future to be brought into being. So in a small way, I think they'd be mini heroes.
I see taking part in UK Biobank as being akin to being a blood donor, helping other people that you don't know in ways that are completely unpredictable. The UK Biobank resource will definitely produce new information on the causes of a vast range of different diseases, and by doing that, it will help us identify ways to treat and prevent these diseases.
Hi, my name is Nick Ross and I'm associated with the UK Biobank, and I just want to add my thanks to you for all that you've done. We all know how much advance there's been in medical research over the last 100 years especially, but we also know how much there still is to learn about dementia, about heart disease, about cancer, about so many other afflictions. And your gift today will really help. Perhaps not your immediate generation, perhaps not the next year or two, but certainly future generations. And on their behalf, thank you very, very much indeed.
We'd like to thank you if you've taken part, or you're thinking of taking part, or you are taking part in the UK Biobank tests.
By doing so, you will be ensuring that your children and your grandchildren have the best possible opportunity of living long and preferably healthy lives.
Your contribution to this work by taking part in the UK Biobank is crucial to help improve the lives of future generations.
It is a great opportunity for every one of us to actually do something that helps in the future to prevent the burden of these terrible diseases that do affect most of the population in the United Kingdom.
On behalf of the many scientists involved in UK Biobank, but more importantly, on behalf of the very many people who will benefit over the next decades from your participation in UK Biobank,
thank you for your help. It is enormously appreciated. Diolch yn fawr. Hwyl.
It's going to be a real help, but they can't do it without you. Thanks very much indeed.
Hello, I'm Jane Armitage from Oxford University. Do you have diabetes and are aged over 40? If so, you may be able to help with an important medical research study that we're running from the university, but it's being run all over the UK. People with diabetes are at somewhat higher risk of both heart disease and strokes than people without. We're running a study called ASCEND, which is investigating 2 treatments to see whether we can prevent these circulatory problems in people with ASCEND. If you're interested, there are some posters and flyers around the ASCEND Assessment Centre that will give you some more information. In addition, we've got a website that you can access and also a free phone number if you'd like to call us. Thank you very much.